Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening and welcome to Total Football Talk. We're going to look at all the latest news coming out of Manchester United and the latest transfer news. We obviously had the game yesterday against Bournemouth. We'll have a look at that through the eyes of the manager and Bruno Fernandes's quotes. We have some information coming on Adam and Lookman. We also have a little bit more on Cunha, which looks like it's getting closer, which is brilliant because my God, we need it. And yeah, they're the kind of top stories that we're going to look at this morning. Thank you everyone for joining me. I'm Keith, and this is your 10-minute roundup of Manchester United news for today. We will start with the news about Adam and Lookman. And this has been kind of brought to you from Caught Offside, and they're saying that Manchester United remains strongly interested in signing Atalanta's attacker Adam and Lookman as they plan a major rebuild of their attack in the summer. Now, we've already been linked to Edison. We've already brought sort of Ahmad in, and we've brought Højlund in, Rasmus Højlund in from Atalanta. We're also looking at their striker as well. Are we just going to buy every Atalanta player, known to mankind? I just think this Adam Lookman story is another one where we probably have a interest in him, but I actually don't think there's any legs in this. Caught Offside they're a mixed bag of kind of reporters. Some are good, and some hit the nail on the head, and some of them don't quite hit the mark. And I just have a feeling that this is he would be an interesting signing, but is he more of a 10 than an out and out striker? I don't know if he can play down the middle, but I'm just wondering, would he be better as a 10? And I think if we're looking at Cunha, and we obviously have Mason Mount and Manu, who's potentially looking at, who can play in different roles, 10 being one of them, Xerxes to come back next season, Ahmad to come back. I think we've got a lot of positions, of people in those positions already, and I think Lookman doesn't quite fit the bill, because what we really need is power and pace through the middle, and I think Delap gives us that a little bit more than Lookman. Now, I think Lookman's a very, very good player. Not last year, but it was last year when he scored the hat-trick in the Europa League final. He has shown that he can do it at a very high level. He is a very good player. Obviously, he's had Premier League experience in the past with Fulham and Everton, and with kind of mixed results. But he's gone away to Atalanta, and he's really kind of grown into himself. Again, a striker in his kind of mid to late 20s. And he would be an interesting choice for Manchester United, but I just don't think we will be going for him at all this summer, unless things were to, if we lose out on Delap, and we have to then start looking at alternatives. I still not even sure whether Lookman would be an alternative at this stage. Maybe if we had a lost Cunha, maybe you'd looking at a Lookman, but at the minute it looks quite strong on Cunha. And this is what is being said about Matthias Cunha. Obviously, Cunha had a cracking game yesterday for Wolves. I know it was against Leicester, 2 days ago on Saturday it was against Leicester. He played very, very well. But it's saying, this is news that was breaking, and it was like Manchester United have a verbal agreement with Matthias Cunha and United, and everything has been finalised already. The clubs intends to pay the release clause in the coming weeks. Which I said, if we can get this deal done for Cunha, and I just hope it's not one of those where we're going to leave it until after we have maybe a poor result against Bilbao on the Thursday, and then on Friday it's Cunha. If that is the case, okay, fine. But if we get Cunha done before we away on the Asian tour as opposed to the American tour, I'm not really sure when he would join Manchester United. Maybe it would have to be in the 1st of July, so that means he would come for the American tour. I would love to have him in, because I think he would be transformative to the squad. He would definitely help us create more goals. He would definitely help us score more goals. And there's a bit of fire and a bit of passion in him, which we are lacking at the minute. Something that Bruno has talked about, so we'll look at that in a second. But I think Cunha, if this deal can be done, if there's a verbal agreement, and if we are able to get this across the line very, very quickly, I think this would be absolutely brilliant, and I'd be delighted for that. And this is what Bruno was saying yesterday on Sky Sports. So he said, we did enough to at least score one goal. We created enough chances to score more than one goal, but it's still not enough for us. We need to be more angry than ever, more angry than the defenders to get the ball. To get the ball first, you need to be focused on everything you're doing in training. Then what you have to do now, we should have done it already, and we've been doing it in training, but we need to do it in games. Now, for me, there's a couple of ways to look at this. I think it's quite interesting that Burno was talking about anger, and I think something Cunha does bring is that fire and that spark and that intensity and that aggression, which would be very, very useful to a team that lacks it. Now, Bruno's talking about doing this in training, but the problem is, in training, Bruno's only doing it against the caliber of players that he's training with. And we know that a lot of them are not good enough. The likes of Ericsson and Lindelof, etc., all too slow. So, when you look at the game yesterday, Bournemouth pressed us high. But we can't press high in training sessions because we've got no one who can do what Bournemouth can do. So we can't replicate that in training and work our way around it and figure out how to get out of it because we've got no players that can actually do it. Very few anyway. Dorgu, there's a couple in there that maybe could do it. Ahmad, there's a very few amount of players that can actually replicate what Amorim would like from his team because he just hasn't got the players to do it. So even on the training ground, we're not able to work these situations, and that is the reason why I think we're getting caught on the ball as we were yesterday when Bournemouth caught us, when Dorgu kind of got caught in the ball from a poor pass from Shaw, and then they broke into the box and with their only shot they scored. So it is interesting what Bruno's saying, and I think, and the only way to fix this is over time with Ruben Amorim being able to bring in the players that he wants, and I think that's the way we fix it. And now this is what was being said about Rasmus Højlund. What Bruno said: we know that scoring is important for strikers. He knows the responsibility of being a Manchester United number 9. He has to score, and that's what the club demands. But everyone has the quality to score. Today it was Rasmus, and it was good to see a striker score. Hopefully it gives him confidence for what's to come. Massive goal for Rasmus, but it's only massive if he can carry it on, because he scored a few weeks back and he didn't, he only went away on the international break with Denmark and he scored. I thought maybe that'll keep the run going. Unfortunately, it didn't. It dried up, so he's got another goal. And it was a very good finish, very instinctive finish from Ugate's kind of prod forward. It was more of a shot from Ugate, and Højlund managed to turn it in. So absolutely delighted for him that he scored. But a draw away to Bournemouth, I'll take it, and the league doesn't mean that much to us because everything rides on Thursday night against Bilbao and the following week. But if we go out, I can't even contemplate going out at the minute. But it would be absolutely devastating. I just think that Rasmus has scored. Can he build on it? We just need him to build on it between now and the end of the season to give us hope, because he's the only striker we have. All our hope lies with him, and I'm just praying that he can carry on finding a little bit of form. And this is what Amorim had to say. He says, we have to be focused because if you look at the last few games, apart from Newcastle, because of the context, we had control, but we lost it at a set piece. In Nottingham, we had control, then we lost it from a set piece. We lost against Wolves. We missed big chances. We have to be focused on our game, and we have to improve our intensity, not only because of the game, but also because Bilbao will also be very intensive. Now, apparently Bilbao play very like Bournemouth. Now, whether they have the physicality of Bournemouth, I don't know. I've not seen enough of them play, but they're obviously going to press us. And if we are press resistant, which we're not really, we're going to find it really, really difficult. So, do we play out from the back, or do we go long and try and win second balls? I'd prefer to go long and try and win the second balls in midfield rather than have to play out from the back, because I think it's going to be very, very difficult if we do. And we have the possibility of being in the same situation as yesterday and losing the pass and having them break on us and maybe get opportunities. Whether they score or not, only time will tell. But yeah, so I just hope that we are very careful about that. And then this was the final little bit from Ruben on the plan before playing Bilbao. It's like that, to use everything that we have in Carrington. We have to eat well, we have to sleep well, we have to see the opponent, we have to understand what we can do better. These teams are quite similar in their high pressure and the way we press. So it was good for us to prepare against sort of Bournemouth. So I think what he's saying there is Bournemouth was good preparation for what we're going to face against Bilbao. And we actually did well in long patches yesterday. I know we did better after they had a man sent off. The first Tyler Adams, how that wasn't the first tackle wasn't a red card, I don't know. 2 feet off the ground, reckless. I don't care what the PGMOL say. That was a poor tackle. He should have went. The second one is a slip, and I could see why it maybe wasn't a red card. Obviously, they give it. I don't think one kind of justifies the other. Again, Manchester United, Harry Maguire got pulled down in the box several times. Nothing, not even looked at VAR, looked at it, and I don't even know what they were looking at. Stevie Wonder must have been on VAR yesterday. But end of the day, the result, it was more about making sure that we got off the pitch unscathed and untouched. In terms of not losing any players, because we could have lost a couple yesterday for some of the tackles that were going on out there. And Casemiro probably was a little bit lucky too, if you're being honest. He was quite high. I don't think he was going for the ball, but you've seen them give him before, so I'm surprised that actually went in our favour where he didn't even get booked. But gotta call that one out too. Okay, and this is the final little bit from Samuel Luckhurst, who is a writer for the MEN, and he likes to give Manchester United a lot of grief. And this is what he said yesterday: result insignificant for Manchester United, timing of the goal and avoiding defeat to ensure morale was lifted ahead of the biggest game in decades v Bilbao, murdered with their equaliser after sustained pressure. Ugarte did well, and why I just brought that in is because he has give Ugarte some kind of a lot of stick recently, and he actually thought he did well. I know loads of the fan base, and I'm not entirely sure, wonder whether they thought Ugarte had a good game. I thought he did reasonably well in midfield. I think he's still adjusting to the Premier League, the speed and the power and the pace of it. But I think he's had a good season. I don't think it's a brilliant season for him, but I'm pleased with him, and I just hope he can carry good form into next season. But I also hope that in the last couple of games, especially against Bilbao, he can really get on it and help us out. Okay, guys, that is all your news so far. Not disappointed about the game yesterday, but I'm pleased that we didn't lose. Pleased that Rasmus scored. Just hope that we can carry everything into the Bilbao game. Absolutely massive. For the love of God, please find a way to get through this game and give us some hope. Liverpool have just equaled 20 titles with us, and that is heartbreaking. Sir Alex Ferguson built a team, built a club, built a culture for us to be ahead of Liverpool with league titles, and unfortunately Liverpool have now equaled it. This is on the Glazers. This is on Ineos. It's your opportunity. Now you have to go for it. It's more on the Glazers because they have destroyed this club, and Liverpool have in that period of time managed to catch us. And City are fast coming up on the rails, and Arsenal probably, even next season, it could be their season to win the title. For the love of God, get this club back on track. We are at our worst stage I've ever seen in this club. Please get us back on track. That's all I ask, that you get us back on track, because we bloody need it. Please stop destroying the club. Start helping us to move up this league and give us hope. Start with the Europa League. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks, guys.